Hello, Knots Landing fans. It's me, James Lott Jr., back with the Knots Landing Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I was watching my friend. He has his channel on, well, his page on Twitter is CBS Knots Landing. Go ahead and check that page out. He posted something that made me think about this show compared to the other nighttime soaps. And as you know, I do after shows for Dynasty 2, which is the Colbys. And I mentioned Dynasty on it. Dallas, of course, the parent show of this one, and Falcon Crest. And when you look back at primetime soap, they are the big four, right? They're considered the big four of the 80s, even though some went into the 90s. But well, actually, yeah, Dallas and Not Saying went into the 90s, but they're big. From the 80s, they're the big four. And when you talk about them now, a lot of times when people talk about the big soaps in the 80s, Dallas and Dynasty get mentioned first. And of course, when I say this, Dallas and Dynasty earned their place in the lexicon of primetime soap. I'm not taking away from them at all. I mean, they have earned their place. Deservedly so. Both shows brought a lot to the genre, had very big moments that everybody said, obviously Who Shot JR, Moldavian Wedding, Massacre, they have their things, right? Alexis JR. No, but there's plenty just praise about those two shows that is totally worthy, right? Not a lot of folks mentioned Knots Landing, but a lot of folks watched it. At the end of this, of me talking, I posted a snippet of when they were going off the air from a place called on Channel 6. I don't know what state it is or city. When he talks to them. So at the end of this video is a little treat at the end of the video for you guys. But I was looking at going, I mean, the show did pretty well in the ratings. The show was on the longest out of all the soaps. It was 14 years. It beat Dallas by a year. 14 years it was on. Solid characters. But I always think of it as like the middle child of soaps. I'm a middle child of soaps. I always think of it that way. Like it's one of those things where everybody kind of leaves it alone. Like the other shows are mentioned so much because it's so iconic. Dynasty, of course, came back. Dallas came back. Falcon Crest, they mentioned somewhat, but even Angela Channing, all that is still a big thing too. But I feel like Knots Landing, Knots Landing to me is a cross between a soap opera, just a regular primetime drama. It was on opposite Hill Street Blues. The time we had LA Law, we always do shows that was hour-long, soapy-esque dramas that kind of started in the 80s and in the 90s. And I'm like, Knots Landing was somehow, because Knots Landing was never super over the top like Dallas and Dynasty, but it had some moments, clearly. It was a soap opera, but it had some moments. But it was more grounded. It was considered like the grounded soap because it was set in Los Angeles, set in the cul-de-sac. It was like regular folk, going through high problems. But it was like I always like, I just said, you guys tell me at home who are Knots Landing fans, why do you think it's not mentioned as much when it comes to just regular TV shows? I mean, we have great Abby, great character, Karen, Val, Gary, Sumner, Paige, Mac. I mean, we have some really great iconic characters from that show. Lily Mae. Stars were on there, all kinds of stars were up and through there too. And I'm just like, why? And it was on for so long. It was on longer than MASH or the Waltons or any of those shows that they get iconic status. They're totally celebrated. Like, why is not now? That's why I started doing this after show because Knots Landing. Dallas is my favorite. I do want to say that. But Knots Landing, I would say, is my close second. Knots Landing, to me, had such heart and such humanity, and it had bitchiness and funniness. And I've done about 14 episodes of the show, and I've talked about certain storylines and actors, and I'm like, this show is, when I start digging, I'm digging back into it, kind of digging deeper into it, like, this show is really good. The writing is, with Dallas was very male oriented. Knots Landing was female oriented. And had characters, they had a wide range of female characters. And the storyline of Val, just that alone, shows you the range that they went on there. But even supporting characters like Jill Bennett and people who come on, they all served a purpose. Even in the beginning, Laura, of course, we can't forget her. Even Ann Matheson, when she came on, it's like, but even Paige, like they mentioned it in this thing you can see at the end, how Paige evolved. Even Karen and Val and Abby, they all went through changes on there. I mean, it's the show to me is like comfort food. It's like you eat it, you like it, you eat it. It's really makes you feel good. It's really good stuff. It's quality food. But they may tell us something flashier, like they'll say, yeah, you should go to In-N-Out Burger, or Whataburger or something like that. They're not talking about the down-home cooking that's what nothing to me is. It's down-home cooking. It's like, it's all the ingredients are in there. I mean, I for me, again, iconic episodes like Laura's death. That was a masterclass in acting and masterclass in the actors knowing their characters and the direction and the cinematography, everything. It all just kind of came together. I'm thinking of like 20,000 things right now of the show that I'm like, it's flooding my memory. And I'm just wondering why it's never been redone. Which, well, in some ways, some people may say that Desperate Housewives was a successor to it, and other shows that do with, families inside a neighborhood, possibly. But I'm just like, I would do Knots Landing. If I could redo Knots Landing, if I could update Knots Landing or reboot it, I think it's a good, like, just drama or dramedy. I would do it. But like, no one's really touched it. So, but I just wanted to come on, because I was watching my friend at CBS Knots Landing. He's great. And just was asking, I want to ask you guys out there, what are your thoughts on why Knots Landing is just not as, unless you live somewhere where Knots Landing is revered. So this show goes out internationally. And I've been learning a lot of stuff from some of you guys in other countries. So if this show is really huge in other countries, where it is mentioned alongside Dallas and Dynasty and all that, please let me know that too. Let me know. Let me know in the comments what's going on there. I'm James Lott Jr. Thanks for watching today, or whenever it is you're watching. I'll be back with more episodes of Knots Landing Aftershow here on JLJ Media. We are audio and we are video. So enjoy us on audio, enjoy us on video on YouTube and JLJ Media. And see you next time. And now go ahead and watch this little thing at the end.
Well, as I am sure you know by now, tonight was the season finale of Knots Landing. Ernie Anastos reports on the last of a dying breed, the nighttime soap opera popularized in the 80s by Dallas and Dynasty and finalized in the 90s by Knots.
It began December 27, 1979, as the story of four couples on Seaview Circle. 14 years and 344 episodes later, it is still a favorite of many. A drama driven by characters the audience wanted to know better.
And action.
It held on longer. It had the gift of change. It had the gift of changing with the times and the needs and the audience.
Indeed, a lot happened to the people in and around the cul-de-sac over the years.
I'm paralyzed. He lost her twins.
How much time you got?
And then she became homeless.
First, he remarried his wife.
She's lost about 3 or 4 husbands. I'm kidnapped. She posed for nude photographs.
These are all out of order.
I'm shot.
Then everybody walked off into the sunset.
And action. Let me help you with that.
The 2-hour finale was filmed here on the old MGM lot this past January. Although Joan Van Ark had returned to the fold and directed an episode this season, she wasn't so sure she wanted to return as Valine until she talked to her old nemesis.
The first thing I did when I came into the cul-de-sac was, of course, steal Gary away from Val. That's why I called Donna before I said yes to the final. I said, "Are you going to be there, Ab? Going to be there?" And she said, it. I think it'll be fun.
It's not so much the scenes, it's the people. And place. This space we are in and the ghosts of MGM past. Special.
The Knots Landing legacy isn't likely to end anytime soon. The series is broadcast worldwide, from Botswana to Denmark to Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, the world is likely to watch to see what happened on Seaview Circle well into the next century. Ernie Anastas for CBS.